Brian on Long Island. He is our first caller. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Eddie, what's up? I just want to make a statement real quick for my question, if I can. I've been listening to you since the late 90s. I was one of those city cops that listened to you on the late shift. I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
So it just upsets me. Are you friends with this guy in the morning? Because he's constantly taking shots at you. It just, like, reeks of jealousy.
What guy in the morning? Here? Nick?
Yeah. He's like, what did he say this morning? He's like, when's Eddie Trunk ever been on the right side of anything? Or something like that. Or he's on the right talking about the Billie Eilish thing. He's constantly taking little digs at you.
Brian, I don't know what to say about that. I got no problem with Nick. I don't, if he's a right to his opinion, he can say whatever he wants. I mean, look, something that I have battled my entire life.
Against us, like us hard rock fans, they just like look down on us, kind of.
Yeah, well, that's where I was kind of going, Brian. I've battled that my whole life with people, that there is sort of like when people are so dyed-in-the-wool rock fans that there's, sort of, and I'm not saying Nick is doing this because I just don't know, but I've experienced it from a lot of places my entire life, my entire career, everywhere I've worked, kind of almost look down your nose as like, well, you're not evolved because you don't love everything or every genre, or you're so. That stuff is so ridiculous to me and doesn't bother me at all. And I've made a tremendous career for almost 40 years being true to what I believe in and not bullshitting anybody and just keep being straight. And look, if rock music, and I'm not saying I am this guy, I'm not putting myself on that pedestal, but if rock music ever needed a true defender out there, we need it right now, folks, because we need the help out there in giving us a seat at the table. And Brian, that stuff goes back for me since I was in high school. Literally, when I was in high school, I was made fun of. I wasn't invited to the parties. I wasn't in the in crowds. People would say stuff. It literally doesn't faze me in the least. I laugh at it because, here I am still standing nearly 40 years later, TV shows, radio shows. I'm good. Everybody does what they do. I do what I do, and I'm good.
Us. We all listen to you on the Late Show, so I kind of took it. I've been listening to you for years. So
yeah, well, and people like you. Look, man, people like you. I mean, whether it's been terrestrial radio or satellite radio, I love what I do. I love that I can have a debate with my audience. I love that I stand for rock, all sides of it. And I love the audience that I built. I mean, I can go out and do all these things and do these rainbow broadcasts or host all these shows because I've been passionate and committed to something. So, there's no issue. And let me tell you this, last thing I'll say, I am proud of the fact that for 2 hours a day, when people turn on this radio show, they know they're going to get rock. I do not, I do not want to try to be, and I do not profess to be all things to all people. And I think more, there's people that like a lot of different genres of music, and all more power to them. But I am proud as hell to be a place where the flag is planted for rock, that you're going to get talk surrounding rock. And that's what I want to be. And I have no problem with that. I'm very proud of it. Anyway, thank you, Brian. What did you want to say?
I want to say, talking about Kiss's last show next year, we all know it's not going to be just one show. I'm sure it's going to be like a whole week-long thing where they get like the key to the city, blah, blah, blah. I can see them maybe doing like 3 shows where, people be coming from all over the world, one non-makeup, one with makeup, and then the original 4, and then maybe one big show at the end of the week with everybody. Now, I was thinking since Piper opened Kiss's first show at MSG, and I'm a huge Billy Squier fan, if maybe that would be a cool idea to maybe have him open that final show at the Garden if they were ever to
Brian,
play the original 4.
I love how you think, but I think you don't have a chance on any of that happening, my friend. I think that's all like dreaming stuff right there. First of all, Piper didn't
Ace back to come back and do a little tour, because it's going to be tons of money if they do that.
But see, first of all,
3-month tour with Ace and then end it. That's what I think that's going to happen.
Well, the Piper thing doesn't make sense at all, because Kiss had different opening acts, and they played Madison Square Garden after that show. They played in '79, New England Open.
I want to see Billy Squier.
So do I. So do I. But I mean, I hear Billy might tour next year. I hear he might go out. I met with a friend of mine works for the agency that books him, and they said there's some talk about him possibly touring next year and going out and doing dates. So I would love to see that happen. Brian, I got to run. Thank you. I'll address your stuff in a second here, but thank you, Brian. So my take on, there's a lot of people who have come up with all these ideas, like Brian just said, about the presumed last show for Kiss, where they have announced this date in New York in 2021 that would be the final show. And a lot of people have all these wild theories, Brian included, different lineups, non-makeup show, makeup show. I don't think any of that's happening. I think that where that show is and how it goes off is really going to be contingent on two major things. Do they have an agreement with Ace and Peter to play it? Because let's be honest, if Kiss does this final show, and how many people are even going to believe that it will be at this point, but if you believe it and you buy it and they do it, and it's the same show they've been doing the last year and a half, 2 years, and that they'll keep doing for the next year leading into it, if it's the same thing, same lineup, okay, maybe we change the set list a little bit, it's not going to be this destination thing. If fans are going to come from other countries, like Brian said, and it's going to become this destination, holy shit, I got to be their thing, they've got to pre-promote exactly what it is. They've got to tell you, yes, Ace and Peter are going to do a set. Yes, Bruce Kulick's going to come out. We're going to do a few 80s songs. Forget about the Vinnie Vincent thing. I don't see that happening in a million years, but that's just my hunch. Now, in order to pre-promote and tell people and sell tickets based on their involvement, you need to have a contract with them. Since this farewell tour has been happening, Kiss floats out there, oh, Peter and Ace are welcome. They can come jam anytime. Again, that's utter hogwash. We all know you need to have rehearsal, a deal in place, an arrangement, something set up. They just don't knock on the backstage door saying, can we come in with our guitars or drumsticks? So how special and how eventful the last Kiss show will be, to me, is completely connected to what they are able to set up in advance and commit to and publicize and advertise. And to me, I said this, look, I grew up and still am, for a lot of periods of the band, a huge Kiss fan. Everybody knows that. I've got a lot of Kiss fans in my audience. It's the band I'm probably most associated with, just being a fan of, even though the irony of that is that they don't talk to me and they don't like what I say about them now. Whatever, that's fine. But I spent, just any Kiss fan listening to me right now, myself included, during our course of our lifetime, we've spent a tremendous amount of money on Kiss stuff. Whether it be tickets, paraphernalia. Hell, my buddy John 5 is spending a tremendous amount every day, if you follow his Instagram. How about the last show being free? How about the fans are the boss, yada, yada, yada? How about one big give back to the fans, and it's a free show? Make it a free show. You could go do it in Central Park. Anyone can come in, just like my Rainbow broadcast next Thursday. Anyone can come in. Won't cost you a penny, no ticket, no nothing. Just show up. And sure, put every bit of merch you want for sale at any price and make your money over there with merch. Imagine that. That might actually almost be a better business model. Can you imagine if you can put merch out the ass all over the Central Park, T-shirts at $75 or whatever, all the money people saved for not buying tickets, you might end up making it anyway, because that's more they're going to have to spend on your merch. And nobody loves to sell merch like Kiss. I don't know. I don't think it's a crazy idea. Makes you look good. You can actually put 50, 100,000 people in there. And whatever you do or end up doing is gravy because you're not charging people. And you make it a big farewell party. I think that's a great idea. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a good idea. And just go to town on your merch sales. But I don't think there's any big special event here without a deal in place, whether it's for the final show or, as Brian alluded to, like, you know, the last 3 months of the tour. Or maybe it's a deal like they cut a deal with those guys like Lou Gramm with Foreigner, where they announce certain shows on a tour and they say, these are the shows we're going to bring out the original band for a set. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. But Foreigner, which is basically has been for a long time, the majority of their shows played with no original members. Mick Jones is there here and there. But Foreigner has done shows where within the show, they play 5 or 6 songs with the surviving original members of the band, including Lou Gramm. Maybe they use that model. Hey, Ace, Peter, let's make a deal with you for 10 shows, including the final one. Let's rehearse. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to handle the makeup issue. And we can announce these shows as being these special shows. Or maybe just the last show. I don't know. Point is, it's not a spontaneous thing. It's got to be planned. It's got to be rehearsed. It's got to make sense. And a deal, contract, agreement has to be cut because we all know it's a business and it's all about money. Always.